So how has being back in Johannesburg been compared to the first two times? Well, I will say that I do appreciate being here during the summertime. The weather is very pleasant. It's a little humid, but it's pretty good. One of my things that I didn't like when I first came to Johannesburg, and the second time, was that I came during the colder months, the month of May and the month of October, November, the times I came before. But being here in December is definitely great for the weather. Now, a lot of people really try to push, let's say, Johannesburg on me, right? Because I talk, highly of Durban when it comes to South Africa. And so, what I want to explain to people is that everybody has their own preference as far as, the vibe or the type of city they like for whatever reason they may have. And so, a lot of times when I visit cities briefly, it's just because it's not my primary destination that I'm trying to visit. So the majority of my time I'm going to spend in South Africa will be Durban. Johannesburg is just the first stop. Connected with some people that are here, and it's definitely a good vibe. Now, I will say, and something that I have reconfirmed on this trip, is that Johannesburg is not a 7-day-a-week city when it comes to, nightlife. It's not. That's not a bad thing, right? People have to work, etc., but it's not a 7-day-a-week city. There are cities where I've been to where, I don't want to say 7, let's say 6-day-a-week cities. I still conclude that Johannesburg is more of a weekend type city. Now, whether that weekend you may want to constitute as Thursday, Friday through Sunday, or Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's more. Nevertheless, I would say the core days that you would want to be in Johannesburg any time of the year is, let's say, a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, for example. Now, I'm headed to East London and then Cape Town before I head to Durban. But I will say that being in Johannesburg my third time, and I would say that I've been in Johannesburg midweek most of the times I came. It's just not a city where you'll see a lot of people out, opposed to Durban. A lot of places in Durban, 6 days a week, it's crowds out. For whatever reason, I can't explain it. Let's see. So I know a lot of the guys, they're curious about, let's say, the women and things of that nature. I've got snippets here and there, but I want to be kind of respectful of, privacy too. Not just filming people that don't want to be filmed, so to speak. And then too, I'm gauging the energy and things of that nature as well. Just from boots on the ground, the malls were definitely, great places. I went to Rosebank Mall and I went to Mall of Africa. Now, Rosebank Mall was, it's a decent mall. There's a lot of people out in the Rosebank area. I actually like the Rosebank area. I'm gonna actually show you guys, what Rosebank looks like during the day. It's definitely, I would say the best area I've seen in Johannesburg. And I've been to Sandton, Mabonane, now Rosebank. Mall of Africa is in Midrand, but I really haven't explored Midrand. But Midrand looks nice too, at least by Mall of Africa. So I'm gonna show you guys that as well. But Rosebank looks nice. The mall is cool. They just didn't have as many stores as Mall of Africa. Mall of Africa had more higher end retail stores, had more stores that are recognizable to us from the United States, and it was definitely more people And for guys, there was definitely a lot more women, walking around in all of Africa. But I will say this: the women won't disappoint you in Johannesburg. You will be, if you're a guy, you will be turning your head left or right. The beauty is there. It's definitely a melting pot of different cultures, different tribes, different races, different ethnicities, different income levels. You see it all. Even seeing it's crazy in a black, in a white country or the Western country. It's normal to see, let's say, minorities on the corner asking for money and things like that. But I've seen a couple of white guys asking for change or homeless in South Africa. So it's just like, wow, it's like the roles are reversed in so many ways. I just thought that was surprising. I always thought that Africa was the land of milk and honey for a lot of people of white descent. So that's a topic for another day. But overall, nothing has changed. Durban is still gonna be my favorite place in South Africa. Johannesburg is a city that most people you won't avoid, because when you fly into South Africa internationally, you're either going to fly into Johannesburg or Cape Town. So, and a lot of times, if you're traveling to other cities in South Africa, you would be maybe staying overnight, a day or two in Johannesburg. So it's good to know what to do if you're in Johannesburg. Like I said before, the weather is better. I would say December, January, February, March, probably are ideal for weather. The area of the city right now, I would say Rosebank. I definitely put my stamp on Rosebank. A lot of guys, told me about it. Like I said, nightlife, the lounges and bars and stuff like that, they were just kind of light on a Monday and Tuesday. Things do close early, even restaurants, which I was kind of, I talked to some guys in one of our groups about it, and I was like, man, stuff closed early, midnight, at least during the weekday. And so I do like cities. I do prefer cities where you can get good food, 2, 3, maybe 4 o'clock in the morning. Places like Thailand, for example. What other cities are great for late night? Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, for example. Medellin, Colombia, for example, as well. And then there may be others. So that's getting food during the week. Like I said, the nightlife, it's more of a weekend city if you want the optimal type crowd and to really see how things move. Now, being from the United States, living in New York, Chicago, the East Coast, I'm used to fast cities. Johannesburg seems very, it felt fast. It felt a little faster in a lot of ways. And I was kind of surprised about that, because I'm just like, I look at places like New York as like the most fastest places in the world. That's kind of my perception, right? But Johannesburg is very fast, and what I mean by that is, let's see. For example, like the days go fast. A lot of times you can have a lot of things to do. Traffic isn't that bad, but time just goes very well. And even being on like some of these dating apps like Tinder, and a lot of things I do is like quote unquote social experimentation. So when it comes to like Tinder or meeting people, obviously, I ain't gonna say obviously, but it was apparent that and I'm speaking specifically on Johannesburg, when you, say a guy, if you're in the United States, or let's say, if you're not in, let's say South Africa, or if you're in the United States, and chicks kind of see your mileage, how far you are from them, a lot of times you just won't get a lot of matches or interactions, compared to when you're on the ground. And so I'm saying that to say is that when I touched down and like looked at, I would say my Tinder analytics, definitely picked up with me being in Johannesburg, and I was like, wow, So distance, and this is just speaking to women as well. Distance does matter for a lot of women, because opposed to what I've seen in other countries when it comes to dating and tendencies, women in South Africa, when they use these, let's say, Tinder apps, they're looking to meet someone like that day or maybe tomorrow. Like, it's quick. That's why it's like, it moves kind of fast. So usually, especially like in the United States, it's not the expectation to be on Tinder to meet someone like right away. It's just to meet someone and to, to get to know them and meet them. But a lot of women on especially Tinder is like right now. And these are not like working girls or anything like that. These are a lot of times just regular women, but it's more for right now. So a lot of times, guys, when they go and want to meet women in, let's say, Johannesburg, and they've probably got their contact information maybe a month or two out, a lot of times they realize that they get flaked on by these women. And those that don't know flaked on, they just pretty much got ghosted by these women, because they're not understanding that when they match with these women, in reality, these women were kind of looking for some attention in that moment. And by the time you got there, a lot of times, maybe they're talking to somebody, maybe they got a boyfriend. A lot of times these women get on these dating apps in between relationships, and so by the time you get there, they have probably reconciled or got back with their boyfriend or significant other. So, so that is one dynamic. It is a right now. So what makes it fast paced is that, you've been, trying to, we say pipeline, months in advance with, little or no traction. And then once you hit the ground running, you got all these matches. And if you're there for a limited time, it's just going to be impossible to just to kind of figure out who you're going to vibe with, because you don't have time to like talk to everybody and things like that. So, so it could just feel a little overwhelming, if you're, if you're into that. But yeah, outside of all those things, if I miss something, I'll probably bring it up again. But Johannesburg, definitely cool. Like I said, it's a place that you should visit. It might not be for everybody. There's tourist things you could do, like tours and things of that nature. I'm not really a tours guy. I like to just do things regular locals do. That's kind of how I look at tourism when it comes to that. The food scene, ate at some decent restaurants. Saints, which was highly recommended. It was okay. I wasn't blown away. It was okay. But I will say the hotel I'm staying at, shout out to the Holiday Inn. The Holiday Inn, their breakfast buffet is splendid. A lot of choices, very good. So definitely enjoyed the breakfast buffet at the Holiday Inn in Rosebank, Johannesburg. So shout out to them. But yeah, we'll definitely continue dropping you guys a little information as I continue this 30+ days journey in Africa. Peace out.